Hi, my name is Ryan O'Malley. I'm the service manager here at Denton Vacuum, and today I'm excited to introduce the BenchTop Turbo. The BenchTop Turbo is a cost-efficient system that delivers a lot of capability for the price. It can be configured with low voltage sources, a sputtering source, and even a carbon tree for carbon evaporation. I'll walk you through the installation and setup process. All your utility connections are located on the back. First, you have the main power. Your power cable is a 3-wire cable that you need to add your own plug to. This should be done by a certified electrician. They'll need to match the plug to the outlet in your lab. Next, we have the water. If your system has a 2 kVA low voltage source, cooled water is required, and the flow rate will need to be set between 1 and 2 GPM. And the connections for the water are 1/4-inch swage lock fittings, and they'll be labeled supply and return. And last, we have the gases. We have air, nitrogen, and process gas. Your CDA air is used for your pneumatic valves and needs to be regulated between 80 and 100 PSI. Your nitrogen is used for your vent. This is optional and not required. Your process gas is only needed if your system is configured for it. For example, if you have a glow discharge rod, you will need a sputtering gas. Now, your process gas and your vent will need to be regulated between 5 and 15 PSI. And all your gases are 1/4-inch swage lock fittings, and they all will be labeled. Now you have all your utilities connected, it's now time to set up your rough pump. The vacuum hose and the mist filter can both be set up with no tools. First, the mist filter, you want to make sure you take your O-ring, place it on the flange in between the flange and the mist filter. Make sure when you're installing the mist filter, it's the black side down. And you want to install your clamp. There you go. Make sure it's nice and tight. Next, you're going to want to install your vacuum hose. Same thing. Place your O-ring in between the flange and the vacuum hose. And you're going to want to install your vacuum clamp. And you'll want to do the same thing on the vacuum piping. Once again, make sure the O-ring is in between the flange and the vacuum hose. And you're going to want to secure it with your vacuum clamp. Now last, you're going to want to plug in your rough pump and turn on. Now we're ready to power on the system. First, you want to turn your main disconnect switch. Next, pull out your emergency stop, then press the start button. The system will first initialize, and the first thing you'll see is your start page. You're going to want to hit the start button, and you'll be ready to lift up your bell jar. Press the lift up button. You'll see your bell jar start to lift. Once the bell jar reaches the top, it will stop on its own. Now we're ready to set up the inside of your BenchTop Turbo. The configuration for this BenchTop Turbo is we have one 1 kVA low voltage source, and we have one 2 kVA low voltage source. The 1 kVA low voltage source will always be on side A, and the 2 kVA low voltage source will always be on side B. First, I'll set up side A. So the first thing we're going to do is take our nuts and put it on the feed through post. Spin them all the way to the bottom. Next, we'll take our washers, put one washer on each of the nuts. And next, we'll install the post. One on each side. We'll thread it all the way. And after you thread it all the way down, just back off a quarter of a turn and do the same thing with the second post. Now, once we do that, we're going to tighten the nut to the bottom of the post with a 9/16 inch open end wrench. Same thing on the second side. I'll make sure it's nice and tight. Now we'll take the rest of the source, slide it down, and we're going to take our 5/32 Allen wrench and tighten the block to the post. And we'll do the same thing with the second side. All right, now it's nice and tight, and we just want to double check and make sure our filament posts are at the same height. Now we can install our wire basket. Loosen up the thumb screws on each side. Tighten the basket in between the posts and make sure the basket is facing straight up and down. All right. Now your 1 kVA source is fully set up. Now we'll do the same thing for the 2 kVA low voltage source. Once again, first put on the nuts. Make sure we spin them all the way down. We'll take the washers, place one on each nut. And now we have our copper posts. Thread them on. We'll back off a quarter of a turn. Same thing with the second one. Thread it all the way down and back off a quarter of a turn. Now once again, we'll take our 9/16 wrench and tighten the nut to the bottom of the post. That one's nice and tight. And there we go, our second one's nice and tight. Now we can take our clamp holders, put one on each post. First, I'll make sure I tighten it down just with my fingers. And we'll take our 5/16 Allen wrench, make sure each clamp is straight. Now I'm loosening up the clamps, and I'm going to install the boat. Now it's good to note that the 2 kVA source is usually dedicated to boats, and the 1 kVA low voltage source is dedicated to wires and baskets. Now that we have the boat in there nice and secure, we can take our 3/16 Allen wrench and tighten down the clamp. Now the last thing we need to install is the shutter. The shutter will go over each one of the sources, and to know what side to install the shutter on, you'll want to look at your screen. Right now, the shutter indicates that it's actually over source A, so that's where we're going to place our shutter. So now we're going to slide the shutter down on this post, over source A, above source A, and we're going to take a 5/64 Allen wrench and tighten down the shutter. Now that your system's all set up, you can close your bell jar, start your auto pump sequence, and get ready to start your process. So first, press the lift down button, and your bell jar will start to lower. Now, hit your auto pump. Your auto pump sequence will start running. And once it reaches high vacuum, you'll be ready to start your process.